So we talked at the beginning a little bit about like goal setting and that kind of stuff to set yourself up well. And then I want to talk a little bit about like managing the pregame nerves, kind of like we talked about with the one player who's nervous about going against other players. So I want to touch that one more time. And then maybe from the coach's perspective, like the role of motivation, like the role of motivating players and getting them up for games to start the not well, I guess more than just to start the season off, but to start the season off a little bit at least. So maybe you can take it from like the coaching side of it. How do you like kind of help players like settle down if they're nervous before games? Number one, and then what's the role of trying to be a motivator as a coach? Things like
Okay,
that. Does that
sure.
make sense? Is that enough?
So no, it's
Yeah.
good. So let's just start with kids' nerves. So funny, I played with a kid when I couldn't understand it. Before games, he used to puke every game.
Yeah, I know. I
Every
played with a
game,
couple of those. Yeah.
couple like. So this kid had some anxiety. Not a bad player either. But every game, and it'd be like I'd look at him, go, "Okay, can you stop?" It's like it's okay. It wouldn't even wouldn't we'd be in championship games. It would be also like a normal game on a Tuesday in the middle of November. It's like, what are you puking for? But it got up. So, and I don't know if anyone ever addressed it or talked to him, but they should have, right? So, to me, the biggest thing a coach could do is like it goes back to how we started this podcast. This is why it's really good to have a village of people on the same page, understanding the same thing. If you see people that are nervous and freaking out or changing their whole routine because you've seen this in a championship game, guys are taping their sticks different. They're going to do a real warm up today because this is a big game. What they've already decided is that this is going to be big, right? But the reality is, it's just another game. Whether it's the Stanley Cup, I know that sounds like a little ridiculous. The Stanley Cup or game one of the year, it's still just the hockey game. Bigger stage and all that stuff, but what you put in your head and what you make it out to be is going to be what makes you nervous or puts anxiety and pressure on you, right? So the sooner that everybody, mom, dad, and player understand that it's just another game, the anxiety or the nerves can go away.
Yeah, it can be
If you
mitigated for sure.
understand that there's a guy on the other team, like a real, like let's say in junior, there's a guy that's just a goon. And he's going out there to try to do goon stuff. It's like if you think about that all day, you will be nervous, right? It's the fighter that knows that he's looking at the schedule 3 days down the road that he goes, okay, I'm gonna have to tangle this guy. It's like, of course he can't sleep. That's what you're thinking about. So coaches is that's what I would always say is stay present. Learn how to like read a book about staying present. Read a book about um, staying in the moment and controlling what you can control. Because at the end of the day, that's all it is. Did we practice hard? Have you practiced? You know, like as an individual, have you practiced hard? Can you shoot a puck? Can you skate? Do you understand my systems? Okay, all right. You now go do what you can control, and you can't control it 5 minutes before the game or 2 seconds before the game. When you control it is when you're actually playing. So it's teaching the kids as a coach to stay in the moment, and I would spend time on that with kids, right? Just spend time on that. It's very very important because and you know like and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I want people to really understand that is like, okay, how do I do it though? Well, here's simple exercise. Um, let's think about something earlier in the day, how you felt, whatever it was earlier in the day. Let's dwell on it. Let's just beat that. Like, does it matter anymore? What can you do about it? Like, what can you do about, let's say you, I'm trying to think of something here. Give me something.
Well, I would do it a different way. I would talk about more the being in the moment thing. Like the easiest thing for me is like doing the breath exercise, like doing the breath work game. That's the best. So like you get a kid. So like if you take a kid that has never done any of this before, it's like, okay, I want you to count your breaths, right? Have them count. They'll get to like 7, and then they'll be distracted or they'll think of something else, and I'll be like, did you lose count? And they'll be like, oh no, I didn't lose count, but they're actually lying and they did lose count and whatever. And then you drill that, and you can show them like this is how your brain works. Like this is what happens. It's like you start to spin out. So like I need you to focus on your breathing right now, but you're thinking about what you had at McDonald's 2 days ago, right? It's like I need you to think about so you can use that to illustrate the idea of this is what happens when you're worked up about something. Your mind will just spin on the thing that happened before, or it's spinning about the thing that's going to happen. But what you need to do right now is play hockey. What you need to do right now is go out for this shift and focus on getting the puck and doing that. And so now you have something to relate it to. It's like they've felt what it feels like, you know? Because so that's
Yes.
kind of the way that I
Yeah.
would do
Okay.
that.
So that's awesome. So where I was going with that is basically the same, but I wanted to show, like, I wanted to give an example of nothing you could do about it. So like you used McDonald's, went to McDonald's. Okay. So let's use that example. So if I'm trying to teach a kid, like, okay, so give me something that you did today that you wish you didn't do or you thought about. Okay. I went to McDonald's and I shouldn't have. I don't feel that good. Okay. So want to talk about it more? Do you want to beat that up? Like you're an idiot. I shouldn't have done that. Or I don't know if I'm going to have the best game because I went to McDonald's and I had this. And it's like, the point is you can't do anything about it now. That's done. You made that mistake or, or even if you did something really good today, like it's like, okay, but that's done. It's over with. Like understanding that no matter what you do, that is done. There's nothing you can do about it. So, and then thinking about something after the game or whatever, any moment of life, you think of it after, it's like, but it's not there yet. Can't do anything, right? You scored 3 goals last game. It's good to remember, but it's over. Today's this is now. So the breathing is absolutely the best thing you can do because it teaches you, like, actually when you're breathing, um, if you're actually once you get into the thing, there's actually nothing else you can think about. You think about your breath, and it's like so calming and so good. But that's being in the moment. It's amazing. And anyways, that's what I would do. It's like if find some examples of to the kids so they actually understand. Oh yeah, I really can't do anything, right? So if my broken stick, my good stick is broken. Like you can dwell on that, but it's like okay, but now you have to use this one. So like dwell on that, or what are we gonna do? What can you do right now? Well, I can
Mhm.
use this stick. Okay, then use it.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for
That's all.
sure.
That's a problem solver right there.
It's a really, really good exercise,
Yeah,
man. Really good thing to
yeah,
run through when it comes to the nerves and anxiety type stuff. And you can do it about anything, about a hockey game,
yeah,
about a school
yeah.
speech, about whatever.
Well, like in
Um,
practice, just like one more thing. If in practice, let's say a simple example of you've missed 3 passes or you have missed the net 4 or 5 times, and you're like beating yourself up. It's like that's the anxiety piece. So what can you do? As you said, you can go to the side and just take 2 seconds and just breathe it, breathe it. I'm going to hit the net or see it, visualize it, hit the net. That's something you can do at that time to fix it or dwell on you missed the net.
yeah, and it's a skill you got to drill like anything
Oh yeah,
else.
it's
Like
not
it's
easy.
hard, man.
Not easy.
Like it's simple, but it's not easy at all.